Rich, you know all the line. I'm curious what you think in that truck.
It's too hard. This truck sucks.
Don't know.
Well, you know, we're just doing a little filming, just a little B-roll.
Hello there, friends and RC family. My name is Alec from High Noon Hobbies, and if you're new to this channel, I very much appreciate you checking it out. I don't know how you got here, but I appreciate you stopping by. I hope that you will stick around for at least this video, see if this content seems worth your while, and consider subscribing so that then I can say to you, if you aren't new here, welcome back to yet another Friday upload. This time, we are in a new area to the channel, but not a new area to some of our friends. This is the stomping grounds of Thomas from FABN801, and if you're unfamiliar with what FABN801 does, they make some really badass one-to-one, some full-size crawlers. They make rock buggies, and if you're interested in that type of stuff, which, well, if you're interested in RC crawling, I would imagine you're probably interested in some really cool full-size rock crawlers. I definitely recommend you check out FABN801. They even do giveaways where you just have to buy a little bit of merch, a little care package, and you get entered for a giveaway, kind of like an 80-80 type of deal, where you have the chance to win one of the FABN801 chassis. A pretty good, an amazing deal, and a pretty cool thing that Thomas is doing for the community. So I definitely wanted to shout that out and let you guys know that you should definitely be following FABN801. I'll leave a link to his Instagram down in the description, something like that, so you can find it down there if you're interested in checking out more of what Thomas does. But this is Parowan, Utah. If you're unfamiliar with Parawan, this is a small town just off of the I-15 interstate, which is kind of closer to St. George. It's a little bit more in the southern portion of the state, as you can tell by the red rock and red dirt everywhere. So usually a pretty good giveaway that we're somewhere down south. But this is actually the same trip that we were on for the 801 RCC Builds and Adventures comp a few weekends back. This particular event, the 801 event that is, only lasted a day, but we were already down south and we had already driven about 2.5 hours away from Salt Lake City. So when we got word that we had some friends that were going to be in this area, we decided to make the journey further south and head, about another 200 miles or so to the southwest of where we were in San Rafael Swell. We caught some beautiful views on the way down, and we ended up in this amazing spot here where Thomas has set up some fun lines for us to hit out here in the Parowan area. Now, something to know about Thomas: he is a MOA guy, and if you don't know that already, you probably haven't seen some of the other videos that include Thomas on this channel. I've done a few videos in the past where we've compared MOA trucks to other trucks, and we get to basically see how much MOAs dominate every other style of RC crawler, but this particular video is a little bit different. It's not necessarily a comparison per se between an MOA truck and a regular class 2 or even a class 3 truck like we've seen in the past. This particular video is just showing just how difficult MOA specific lines are for any other type of truck. We followed Thomas up into this area. We actually camped out in this area the night before, and we didn't really get to scope it out at all. We got to our campsite when it was dark already, and that's always kind of fun. You have no idea what's in store for you the next day when the light hits the rock and you finally get to see what's going on. But this particular spot is actually a spot that Thomas uses for his full-size rigs, which is absolutely insane to me that he brings full-size rock crawlers up into this area, because it's just a giant boulder field. It's hard even to hike through this area, so I can't imagine watching full-size trucks go through here. Thomas, if you're interested, I'd love to make a video on this trail, because now that I'm saying it out loud, I think that would be really, really freaking incredible, and it'd be fun to have some different style of content on this channel, maybe showing some full-size rigs. But This particular video is like I said, just showing how difficult these lines are that Thomas has set up for MOAs in a regular truck. So we've got a few different MOAs, we've got a few different drivers of MOAs, and we've got a few different Class 2 trucks. Nothing in particular is happening in this video. We're just going to be taking a look at some of the lines that I recorded out here on this day. I thought that there were some really amazing lines, and I wanted to showcase some of them. Like this one here, where Logan, or West Desert Wheeler, and if you don't know Logan, I'm going to leave a link to his channel down in the description as well. I definitely recommend you check out Logan. He's the dude that inspired me to start this channel, and he's got some really killer content when it comes to RC crawling. I absolutely recommend that you check out his most, not his most recent, but a fairly recent video that he did on the TRX6, where he does a little Matt's Off-Road recovery roleplay, and it's a pretty good time. It's a pretty entertaining video. I enjoyed that RC video more than I've enjoyed many a RC video as of late, and well, I think you will too. But we just watched an MOA truck kill this line here, and now I'm going to take a stab at it. Now you can see I'm taking it from a very, very different angle than the MOA truck did, and that's because there's just absolutely no way that I'm going to make it up that first crack that the MOA truck just totally walked. So here I am trying to cheat it off to this left-hand side face. As you can see, basically the only way to get up and over this face is to just gun it once you get up to the top of the face. Otherwise, you are going to high center yourself and you'll end up sliding off to the right. So that time I actually nailed the throttle there. I say nailed, I think I just got really lucky. Either way, I nailed the throttle and got over that crazy breakover angle you can see there and started into the actual crack. Now, things don't get any easier in the crack itself. As you can see, the front end wants to wash out and wash down to the bottom of the crack, so you really got to try to keep that front end high and to the driver's side as you're entering this crack. You can see what I'm doing here is trying to break that traction on my rear tires and carry the rear down into the crack so that when I do turn into the crack like I am here, that rear can kind of keep me stabilized and help push that front end into the crack the way that I want to on the passenger side and keep everything nice and settled. So here I feel I'm in a fairly good spot. That rear end is basically up against that wall. I'm not going to get the rear end to climb that wall though unless I get the front end up and over. So I start working the tires and working the tires, but Thomas has placed that left-hand side cone in a absolutely atrocious spot. As you can see, if I even had an extra centimeter on that driver's side to pull forward, it would probably be really easy to get this hook. That being said, this is the type of stuff that makes it a little bit more fun. Hi Luke, how you doing? He's taking a look at what I've got going on here. He's going to be pressed in a second. Well, he's not going to be impressed because he just walked away. But hey, right as he walks away, what did I say? I got that hook up on the passenger side there, and it carried me and floated that driver's side front tire up and over that left-hand cone. I was pretty excited about that line, so I wanted to share that one with you guys for sure. Now, this is pretty funny here. This is Luke getting his first kind of experimentation with an MOA truck. And if you're unfamiliar, a brief description: MOA, motor on axle. Essentially what this means is exactly what it sounds like. The motors, instead of being placed in the center of the truck and having a transmission and drive shafts that go out from that motor, the motors are actually on the axles themselves. This brings your center of gravity far, far lower than it would be on a typical truck, as well as giving you a lot more control over your wheel speed, because you can even control wheel speed individually between your front and your rear. There are two motors, one on the back axle and one on the front axle. One thing that I asked Logan that I thought was kind of curious is why MOA trucks don't have rear wheel steer. It seems like if you're going for a truck that is just maximum performance in every way, you would want an MOA that has all of the features of an MOA, the adjustable speed between your front and your rear wheels like we're seeing Thomas do here. But you also, I would imagine, want rear wheel steer, because why wouldn't you? I mean, dig and rear wheel steer in an unlimited truck is the kind of magic combo that allows you to get over most things without much of a struggle. And Logan told me that the reason that MOA trucks don't have rear wheel steer is because of the actual status of MOA trucks and Sporties in competition. it would be totally fine if you're just trying to have a good time to have an MOA truck with a rear wheel steer setup like we're looking at here with the Chupacabra, but unfortunately that's not allowed in competition with MOA trucks. They need to kind of level the playing field somehow, and the way they do that is they take away your ability to steer the rear wheels. After he described that, it made a little bit more sense to me, but I still would love to see someone, if you've got an MOA truck that you've got rear wheel steer on, I'd definitely love to see it and get your thoughts on how it performs, and see if there's enough people interested in something like that to throw together a new class where we have an MOA truck with rear wheel steer, because I just think those things would absolutely dominate. But here we are on the last line of the day that we're going to spend quite a good second here on. Logan decided that he really wanted to get this particular line here, even though this thing is nearly impossible without an MOA truck. In fact, when I walked up to it, I thought it was impossible without an MOA truck. But knowing Logan, he'll get the job done. So he's coming in here, and you can see the approach to this first crack is incredible. You really are just using that driver's side front tire as almost your sole traction spot on this obstacle to bring the entire truck over and square yourself up with this notch. Now you can see he's turning his rears into that face on the passenger side, trying to get the hook on the driver's side rear there, and unfortunately he pops off this first time here. Now we're going to try again. We're putting the truck back into the same spot here that he got to, seeing if he can get up and over this section. Unfortunately, once again, duped by this nasty, nasty obstacle. And now, of course, the time that my camera is totally out of focus is the one time that he makes it up through this first crack here. Pretty impressive, and it was impressive enough that I decided once I looked back at it, oh man, that's out of focus. We need to do this again. That was just too good. So we're going to take a look here at another attempt where we're starting a little bit more at the kind of start of the obstacle. He's going to, as any good driver would, once you get one section, once you see that it's possible, you want to get the whole thing. So I would say that Logan's Chupacabra here is probably the most competitive truck that we brought out against all of these MOA trucks. And I say that even though Logan also has an MOA truck, or he does have a super shafty at least, which is a little bit different than an MOA, but that's an entirely different video upon its own. So if you want to see or you want to hear more about super shafties, leave a comment down below. I'd be happy to do a full video on super shafties as well. But you can see it just takes work. This section, when you are doing something in a truck that is, obviously less capable than the style of truck, not even just the particular truck, but less capable than the entire genre of truck that set this particular obstacle, you're gonna have a difficult time. And the one person that I think would be capable of pulling something like this off is Logan. And it's really, if anything, because of his tenacious attitude towards accomplishing these types of things. If he sees an obstacle that he wants to hit, he's going to spend a good amount of time here on the obstacle. And while we're probably only seeing about 3 or 4 minutes of his attempts on this obstacle, there was a good number of attempts that I'm not going to show you here because it would probably be like a 35-minute video. But as you can see, that approach was beautiful. He gets the hook into the crack, squares himself up, almost loses it, and makes it over the hump there, squaring himself up to the next section. Unfortunately, there was just no making this next section here. It was just too gnarly, but I was impressed with that first section enough to throw it in here, and I hope you guys are too. That's all I've got for you today. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you this Sunday. Cheers.